The Russian Revolution was a series of revolutions in the Russian Empire during 1917. The events destroyed the Tsarist autocracy and helped create the Soviet Union. The first revolution was in February 1917. Tsar Nicholas II was forced to step down and was replaced with a provisional government. The second revolution was in October. Communist Bolsheviks replaced the provisional government and created the Soviet Union, and the royal family was shot and killed.
During the 1890s, improvements in Russian industry put more jobs in cities. This made the cities larger as people moved there. The workers in the cities began to create political parties in order to try and change the horrible conditions that they lived in and worked in. People from other parts of the Russian Empire, like Poland and the Ukraine, also created their own parties to try and stop the Russians oppressing them.
The first revolution began with a series of strikes in early February 1917. People in food quays in St. Petersburg, the capital of Russia, began a demonstration. They were joined by thousands of women who left the fabric factories where they work. The strikes spread through the capital, and by February 25th, most of St. Petersburg's factories had to close. On the evening of the 25th, Nicholas II sent the chief of the army in St. Petersburg a telegram telling him to use his soldiers to stop the strikes. The army chief did that, but the soldiers joined workers instead of stopping them. The police also joined them, and the government's power collapsed.
After the February Revolution, the provisional government was challenged by a large group of workers in St. Petersburg. While the government's leader, Alexander Kerensky, tried to improve things by allowing freedom of speech and letting political prisoners go, there was a growing discontent. The lack of food became worse, wages went down, and the national debt grew to 10 million rubles. Vladimir Lenin arrived in St. Petersburg in April 1917. He was a communist and had been exiled to Switzerland by the emperor, but the provisional government allowed him to come back. He began to lead a communist group called the Bolsheviks.
During the October Revolution, the Soviets took power and formed a new Congress. Some members who were not Bolsheviks walked out during its first few meetings, but this made little difference to its decisions. The people who left were even taunted by Leon Trotsky on their way out. He told them to go where you belong, the dustbin of history. All parties who opposed the Bolsheviks were eventually broken up and their leaders were arrested. The Congress then began to get rid of private property. This meant that all land and money was to be owned by the people, and control of factories was given to their workers.
In Russia, the revolution was severely challenged by countries that were not communist and the invading White armies. In July 1918, the countries such as America, the United Kingdom, and France sent more than 15 armies to fight the Bolsheviks. The ex-emperor and his family were shot to stop them from being freed by the White armies. In order to win the war, Lenin began a scheme to divert food and supplies to the communist army. The plan worked and the Bolsheviks won the war. But the lack of food meant that between 3 and 10 million people died of hunger. The Third Russian Revolution was an anarchist revolution against the Bolsheviks and the White Army that lasted from 1918 to 1922. Some European countries recognized the Soviet Union as a proper country in the early 1920s, while America refused until 1933.